I'm Matthew Myers, and the subject we'll be going over is nutrition food labels. The point of this is to identify amounts of nutrients, calories, and serving sizes of nutritional fact labels. I'm going to go and give a better explanation of the difference between the 5 to 20% guides and compare food labels to determine which foods contain higher and lower amounts of nutrients and calories, and recognize that the nutritional fact label is based on 2,000 calories per day. The whole point of this is to better understand the food label as another tool to follow the food guide pyramid and our dietary guidelines to make us healthy people. A quick background on the label timeline is in 1906 the Federal Food and Drug Act and the Federal Meat Inspection Act authorized the government to regulate the safety and quality of food. In 1913, the Gould Amendment required food packages to state the quantity of contents. In 1938, the Federal Food and Drug and Cosmetic Act replaced the 1906 acts, which gave all the food labels a specific to follow. In 1973, it became more detailed and more streamlined, and that didn't actually take effect till 1992, where everybody finally got on page with it and streamlined everything. In 1995, we finally got the standardized food label to where it's all printed the same and all the visual aspects of it are the same. If you look at your first handout, it will help break down these details too. The basic areas of the food label. The first section is your serving size and servings per calories, and that gives you an idea on what you should have. And the misconception is a serving is one portion, but there's a difference between portions and servings because it depends on what your dietary guidelines are, and each person is different based off of their age, their health, and their weight. The second section is your calories and calories from fat. And if you take the total calories from fat and divide it by the total calories, this will give you your total percentage of calories from fat. The third section is your percent daily value. How much one serving contributes to your daily recommended intake. The fourth section is your vitamins and minerals. And the standard ones are vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron. Your fifth one is the description of your percent of daily values. And the standard is off of a 2,000 and 2,500 calorie diet. If you look at your second handout labeled "Read it before you eat it," it kind of breaks down to the 5% is low and 20% is high, and it depends on what you're looking for. For your fats, we want 5% low, so we want less fats, and 20% or more is really high. The fibers is what we want to make higher of, so we want the higher dietary fibers, so we want stuff to be closer to the 20% range instead of 5%. For a 2,000 calorie diet, a person should consume less than 65 grams of fat, less than 20 grams of saturated fat, and less than 300 milligrams of cholesterol, less than 2,400 milligrams of sodium, 300 grams of total carbohydrates, and 25 grams of fiber. And this is all listed in section 5 on the very bottom of each food label. If you look at various food labels, you can seem to get confused because we assume that healthy means it's better for you, and that's not necessarily true. If you compare vegetarian chili, pepperoni pizza, and pork loin, each of them have their aspects that are better for you than the others. Like the pork loin is less in sodium, so that's good for you. The vegetarian chili has less cholesterol and less fat, and has more dietary fiber. But in our nutrients, the pizza has 15% vitamin A in it, which is the highest out of the three of them. It also has more calcium, and it's about even on your iron, and it's middle for your vitamin C. So on your minerals and vitamins, pepperoni pizza is the better choice. On your food label, it has all the ingredients listed, and on there it's listed from highest quantity to lowest quantity. So the ingredients that are listed first are the most predominant ingredients. So whenever you're getting any prepared foods, anything that's canned, pre-made, you want to make sure it doesn't have salt in the beginning. Salt should be towards the end, because anything high in sodium is bad for you. Also with your sugars, you have to watch out for. And that's where you start looking into your healthier stuff based off of the ingredients and the order they're listing the ingredients. If you have excess amount of sugar high up in the line, or salt, your sodium, that tends to be bad for you, and you want them closer to the end, and it's more healthier for you. You need to choose the foods that you need. So you want more whole grain foods, fruit pieces, dark green and orange vegetables and dried beans, and make sure you get enough of low-fat milk or foods made from low-fat or fat-free milk, and lean and low-fat protein foods. These are all foods that are high in vitamins and minerals and have fewer calories, which is the thing you want. And if you look at handout number 3, there's 3 various pages on there. One of them is your vegetables, one's fruits, and one's seafood, because seafood is another thing that not a lot of people track, because you usually get individually or you buy it fresh, and so all those have fresh things that you don't necessarily have food labels on. Because if you go to a fish market or a fresh fruit or vegetable market, they don't have food labels posted on every single ingredient. The next thing we need to look at is, how much do we eat? Serving sizes are fixed amounts of food. They contain certain amounts of nutrients based on your calorie diet that you're required to have. The amount of nutrients you get depends on how much food you eat. And this is where we look at our 4th handout. Most of your common measures are from food groups are measured as in a half a cup or 1 cup, 1 slice of bread, 1 ounce of cereal, 1 to 3 ounces of meat. And the best way to estimate is common everyday items that we see. Like a good serving of fresh broccoli is the size of a baseball. Or 1 ounce of bread is the same size as a CD. 3 ounces of meat, you can use a deck of playing cards. Your half a cup of vegetables is about the same size as a mouse. Your fruit, if you're getting whole fruit, like an apple, should be the size of a baseball. 2 9-volt batteries will give you your portion of cheese for 1 serving, so it's 1.5 ounces roughly. So you can use everyday household items, and that's a good way to teach your children too on how to associate this stuff, because they do better with association than just saying you need 3 ounces. Well, 3 ounces is also about the size of your fist. So if you have something to relate it to, then it's better off. The biggest thing is we wanted to identify amounts of nutrients, calories, and serving sizes, and be more informed on the food label. The difference between the 5% and 20% rule, which is 5% low, 20% high. Compare food labels to determine and look at how not everyone, just because it's classified as healthy, means it's healthier and good for you. And think of things to associate with the sizes or the serving size on items, so we have a better idea of what we should be eating. And being able to understand the food label as another tool to follow the food guide pyramid, this will help us become a healthier person, but also help our families and our peers become more educated in what the requirements are. Food labels have lots of information. You got to make informed choices. the option is going to boil down to the individual. But it's hard to make a choice if we don't have the knowledge to back up our choices. Remember, the easiest way to remember portion sizes is through common household items or a simple measuring cup. Each of the food labels have vitamin A, vitamin C, iron, and calcium in them. And like I said, this is all part of us becoming a healthier society and becoming more informed on what we eat. Thank you.